What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Build-A-Figures favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the second half of the Marvel Legends X-Men wave, the Toys R Us exclusives. We're just going to go figure by figure, down and dirty, alright? So we're going to start at the bottom and make our way to the top. And this is Magneto, and this is really a wasted opportunity. A lot of people want a Magneto. He's, obviously the keystone character in the villain gallery of Marvel's X-Men. This really didn't quite deliver. But let's take a look at him. Starting at the top, we have the head, and it's on a ball hinge as usual, and it's pretty good, movement-wise as far as the sculpting of the helmet. The helmet itself looks like a paper-thin helmet on a really huge head. He's got like the biggest head ever. It's like, so just doing disproportionately big head things, wearing slimming hats and resting my head on pillows, buying novelty-sized sunglasses. Let me think. Trying to hold on to a disproportionately big toothpick that I would need to, pick my teeth. Using my small proportioned hands to cover all the head in sunblock. But win some, lose some, I guess. They did go the extra mile with the paint work and sculpt work around the trim of the helmet, and then it's got this bit up here, which it could have been better, but, could have been a lot worse as well. The face looks terrible. It doesn't really look like him, and I don't know who it's supposed to look like. It has this floating piece of soft plastic for the cape. People love this stuff. I'm not a big fan of this type of cape, but whatever. People love it, so I guess that's why they do it. I'm in the minority there, and I understand that. And then it pegs in there to the back, so you can take it off. And underneath, we have this painted purple bit here, which is just kind of to hide the seams. But the reason why I took this off is so you can really look at this and see the difference in the reds. And that's kind of, and then look how spotty the paint is back there. It's just, that's disappointing. Shoulders are on ball hinges, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, wrist swivel, but it's at the gauntlet, like so it sometimes looks a little unnatural when you swivel it, which is kind of obnoxious. You kind of have to have it like this, I feel like, or maybe a little bit like that, but and no hinge on the wrist either. But once you have it like this, like he's really going to do something, and that something just looks wrong to me there, like a broken limb. Same on the other side. And then we have an ab crunch, which gets plenty back, and then even plenty forward. So that's actually a really well done ab crunch. It's, they don't make them that well usually. Floating piece of soft plastic for the belt, which looks appropriate. And then ball hinge, wide jointed, also wide jointed. A lot of wide joints on these. Usually they've been doing T joints recently, but whatever, that's cool. Not that I prefer one over the other. It's just interesting. Thigh swivel at the upper thigh, which I like, and it's pretty seamless, especially on this one. And then double jointed knees. We have some, I guess it's their attempt at fading, but it just looks like it was like done. Calf swivel, which I hate, and then a ankle rocker and tilt, and the feet are a little huge, but I'm okay with that. I've heard people complain about that too, and I'm gonna explain to you my theory. My problem with a lot of these types of figures is that they don't stand well, but he stands like a champ, and it's because of these huge old, monsters that he's got. Plus the cape doesn't hurt, obviously, but he's gonna stand. Like he's solid as a rock. It's just there's a lot of lack of attention to detail in this piece, and that's the big problem. So next up is Wolverine. He's not hateful. There are some things here and there, but let's just talk about them. Okay. So articulation-wise, this head is on a ball disc, but it has this floating piece of plastic, which is his mask, which I might take off. but I'm having a hard time getting the head off easily, and I don't want to break him. So, but it just kind of gets in the way. The face sculpt is just not quite right. Whoever did the face sculpts on the Guardians of the Galaxy wave, I'm guessing didn't do this, because this is just off. I mean, it has the hair, and he's got a, you know, angry face. You know, but outside of that, the paintwork on the suit looks pretty good. There's a couple touch and go places down there with the yellow showing through, but all in all, not bad. Articulation wise here, we do have a little bit of the return of the butterfly joint, which is nice, and then we have a ball hinge on the shoulder, nice and tight. We have some paint showing through there. Double jointed elbows that aren't entirely effective, as you can see, but whatever. Wrist swivel, we got the soft plastic claws, you know, and the problems that those kind of create. Tight joints. The hair is painted on, but I'm, you know, I've heard some people complain about it. It doesn't really bother me. Same on the other side. Oh, the wrist has a hinge too, on both sides. We have a diaphragm joint on the upper chest there, and that doesn't really bother me either. I'm kind of okay with it. I know a lot of people prefer the ab crunch, but the ab crunches have been so poorly made, I feel like, recently, that I'm okay with it. And then a waist swivel. And then we have wide-jointed ball discs for or just hinges, wide-jointed hinges that swivel, you know, which is interesting because you don't really see that much anymore. And it's good though, you know. A lot of times with the wide joints, it makes the pelvis area proportionately look terrible, but this one really isn't that bad. Thigh swivel, which does, you know, warp the perception of everything, but what are you going to do? Double jointed knees, getting you everything you could possibly need. Ankle tilt, you get 1 and 2 back, and a rocker. So, you know, he's really not that bad. You know, people are crying about him, but I don't think he's terrible. I think the face is a little, you know, out of control, but, you know, all in all, I mean, I think the guys that are complaining about these Marvel Legends just haven't picked up your average Hasbro Deluxe in a while, or they feel a little bit more appreciative. So let's move on. So last but not least, and actually it's, you know, more appropriately would be last but most, is the Build-A-Figure Jubilee. Now a lot of people were crying that it was, remember when Build-A-Figures used to be huge? And I hear ya, and I like huge figures too, but this is actually a really nice figure. It comes with 2 accessories, which is this bit here, and then another one for this hand. My kids got a hold of it, and I think I lost the other one, so, you know, it's the cost of doing business. But this one goes on well, and the other one doesn't go on real well, which is probably why it ended up lost. Head is on a ball disc. Really nice face sculpt on this one, you know, especially in comparison to the last 2. Soft plastic here for the coat. The arms, I think, are new, and the hands are not. We got ball discs, arms, swiveled hinges for the elbow, which are really tight, and then swiveled hinged wrist. Same on the other side, except, and it's even got the hinge for the fist, so that's pretty nice. I think that this is all either Spider-Woman or Black Cat. I think it's Spider-Girl, and it's exactly the same. Like, it's just solid black plastic, and then they have this piece which they added so they could connect the arms. And the problem with this is that this top piece is glossy and this is flat, you know, which kind of looks a little stupid. But that's really my only complaint about this figure. So it's got the diaphragm joint up top, which works pretty well. You don't get a lot of, you know, back and forth, but you get all the side to side, and you know, a good range of motion, not crazy. And then you got T-jointed ball joints for hips, thigh swivel, double jointed knees, ankle, calf swivel, which you know I hate, ankles, tilt and rocker. So good articulation, good likeness, good sculpt. It's, a good reuse of mold. My only complaint is the differences in blacks, and you put her on a shelf with a bunch of other figures. She doesn't stand great, but you put her on the shelf with a bunch of other figures and you won't even notice. This is a good figure. And I hear you that it sucks that they're making the Build-A-Figures small, but is it about the size or is it about the character? I just want to build my character collection, but that's just me. It's a pretty good set. If you're a completionist, chances are you've spent money on way worse sets than this. It's not bad. The Cyclops is definitely the weakest. The Storm is definitely the strongest. Most of the other ones fall on the spectrum closer to the Storm side than the Cyclops side, maybe Magneto being the only exception. And I think he's pretty centered on that scale. But yeah, all in all, not a bad set. I'm happy to have them. If you need the Build-A-Figure Jubilee, then you got to get what you got to get. Otherwise, I might skip the Cyclops and go for the rest. And if you have a better Wolverine, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? Keep the one you got and skip this one. There's no Build-A-Figure with it, so don't be dumb, right? Okay, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.